she's very busy. We're happy to have her time. Robby Hoffman is on Hacks, Rooster, HBO. She's got her own special, Robby Hoffman Wake Up. Everyone says that one is must watch. She's got a podcast, Too Far with Robby Hoffman. It seems like all of this is too much. You've got too much going on. All your dreams are coming true. It seems like too much.
Not too much at all. I'm not having kids. This is what I do. I this is how I toil. This is... whether you knew the credits or not, I'd still be doing those things. Whether it was fruitful or not, it's kind of what I do, poor or rich or anything, because I just committed to doing it. It's fantastic that you know of all those things now. Obviously, it's a much better way for it working out. But I think either way, I would have been doing a lot. And in some cases, I argue when you're not, you're doing a lot more before people know what you're doing. When I was doing mics and stuff like that, I would do 4 or 5 mics a night sometimes. So in many ways, you're doing less but bigger things.
Well, but you're saying, I have read you say that this is your calling, and answering your calling is a nightmare. So you're going to have
to... I don't think people want a call. I mean, maybe if you're like rich or something and you want a calling, you want like a purpose in your life or whatever, it's too easy. I would like to think that maybe the easy life is better. But yeah, doing a calling when you're poor is like, there's no guarantee of payoff. So versus I could have been an accountant, I could have gotten paid every 2 weeks. That to me is heaven.
Is it really?
Yeah,
just safe paid, security? Well, paid 2 weeks, but heaven for you would not be. Heaven for you
but
would not.
But then I found this, and I had to grind doing this, and I hate that word. But it's like, you're extending your poverty for a very long time. It's not fun.
I've never heard anyone call a calling a nightmare. You're the only person I've ever heard do that.
Well, it's a disaster. If you have money to do your calling, that's fantastic. But when you don't, it's constant worry. You're making no money for so long, or little money. You're stretching things. And I grew up in a house that was very capable of stretching, so I stretched.
All right, I want to go through the timeline and the biography. 9 siblings sounds crazy. Like, that sounds like a household that's nuts.
It's nuts.
What are the details that are worth sharing on what you remember of fighting for everything with 9 siblings?
I mean, it was really everything, Popsicles came in boxes of 8. My mother only bought 1 box. We were 10 kids. So it's kind of like musical chairs with the fucking popsicles. At some point, 2 people didn't get. So it's like that, unless it was a steep sale on the popsicles, a 2 for 1, a BOGO. She wasn't buying 2 boxes. So it's everything. It's my bath water. It's, I remember at 7 finally speaking to my mother and say, I think I'm ready for my own bath. I can't take a bath with these animals. They're pissing. My brothers would piss. And I said, I'm 7 years old. I think it's, gray bath. I think it's fine. I have my own bath. Even 10 minutes. I'm not asking much. I can't shower with these animals. I mean, look at them. The penis is, it's like another shower. I don't need this. It's like I'm not even getting clean in there. They're disgusting. So things like that, just a ton of us being in the bath. The toothbrushes were really grimy. That sticks out. I remember we had like a blue sink, those old porcelain, We moved into my great Uncle Eddie's house, so nothing had been renovated. But my mother had like a jar of our toothbrushes and just the petri dish of the toothbrushes, 15 toothbrushes, God knows. She was trying to swap them out. She always tried, but at a certain point, So I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint specifics because the whole thing was different. That's why I say, like, in my relationship, Gabby and I both we're similarly cut in that we don't come from money. She grew up a little more, marginally, under better circumstances, but she was a military brat, moved around a lot. So, it's a give and take. But, dating outside of your class or how you grew up, to me, feels like a huge dating outside of the faith for that reason. Because if you both grew up poor or stretching things, you understand the day in and the day out of that. It's a whole lifestyle. versus if you grew up rich, it's like everything is different. It's just a totally different world.
I have a number of different questions off of that. First, I was asking you about sort of the chaos of it.
Yeah,
and
the chaos.
You're remembering other specific details, right? But it seems like that's all chaotic. And then the anxiety caused by what you're talking about, which is if you're always stretching, you're never satiated.
No. And, in terms of the chaos, I mean, we had, we were 10 kids in about 12 years. So at one point, there were 8 teenagers living in a very small space. I have 5 brothers. They were violent, fighting with each other, bigger than my mother. And we couldn't get them off of each other at times. Or off of me, or we all physically and verbally fought, like psychotically, like punching, and my mother is, 5 feet and a small lady, so couldn't get us, but we were just bursting at the seams in this house.
Were you the funniest one in the house?
No, everybody was very funny. A lot of people were funny. I was psychotic in the house. I don't think I was known as funny at all in the house. I was angry and I hated my brothers, I love them now. But I cried a lot. It just was not a good environment as a teenager. It was very depressing to some extent. I moved out early, and so did pretty much everybody. But I don't know. I don't know that the funny really came till later.
Not comfortable in the chaos, though, right? Like, why, how would anybody...
my mother, we all laughed at my mother together. And we were all funny in our ways. And we all also had really good times. Like, we weren't only fighting. Like, everything was everything all at once.
Well, it's just so many people. You're in a very you're in a tight space.
But we had, lots of fun times with my brothers, too. And, late night going to buy snacks at the corner store. And... watching shows together. And there was a lot of good too, but it was just, chaotic. That's what I'm saying. The good, the bad, the ugly, the everything, the funny, the sad, all of it, all the time.
How anxious were you and how freeing was it to get out of that house and then start having your own?
Well, people ask me if I'm nervous to do stand-up. Like I say, I have a show. Am I nervous? I say, yeah, I'm always nervous. I mean, it's not particular to stand-up, but I wake up, I'm a nervous individual. It's my baseline. If I wasn't nervous, I don't even, that would be a problem. But that is, I operate at a small level of nervous. I have anxiety and not depression. I know, I had to go through that journey to figure out because I was trying to figure out a medicine because I was so anxious to the point of a depression. But what they realized is I went on this med. This is years ago because I was like, I can't live like this anymore. And it made me crazier because what it was an antidepressant. And by the way, everything works differently for everyone. I'm on something a lot more helpful now, but, it was an antidepressant. And an antidepressant brings you up because people are down. But I'm already up. So I was up here. I was really feeling crazy. So what I need was a depressant. I needed something to bring me down, to baseline. So, over the years, sometimes meds, sometimes not. But overall realizing I can have a glass of wine at the night. Wine is a downer, for instance. When I have a glass of wine, that's good for me. Some people, they're already down. It makes them depressed. But I could stand a couple notches. I could have a little bit more of that. So I'm baseline anxious. To answer the other part of your question, what was it?
The freeing part.
When I was a kid... living in that house of chaos, I cried every day. I do remember thinking that I got home from school, I would have some sort of a tantrum, psychotic fit. My brothers called me psycho for a time because I would just scream on the floor, kick and scream on the floor. My mother would close the door. I would kick the door. I just would be in a state of hysteria, quite literally, and I cried every day. And then when I moved out, I almost never cried again. I barely cry. It's the weirdest thing. It was like immediately free. Yeah, I do, and now it takes something like very, a movie I can cry at, or, my grandfather's funeral, may he rest in peace, or things like that. But I'm not crying for like no reason. I used to just cry, like, and I don't cry at all. It's so funny. My wife says, oh my God, it breaks her heart when I cry, like, because the few times, because she could cry at. Look at this puppy. Oh, babe, they're killing the puppy. She's gone.
I mean, a lot of people.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying, it's like,
the puppy
no, it's horrible. But I'm saying, it's like, turn the video off. You know what I mean? It's like, it takes me a real thing to cry now. But I used to cry.
This is cry worthy. This is not.
Yeah, I don't even like choose it. But I'm just saying that I used to just go crazy. Like,
well, what was happening though? What are the roots of it? Like, clear that you're a child.
I was like, I was suffocating. I was in a room with my other sisters. My brothers were extremely loud. They were suffocating.
So it's not no reason you're unhappy.
No, exactly. I was extremely distressed. So much so that in adulthood, your baseline is still nervous. Yeah, I'm still like nervous, but I'm not distressed. I'm comfortable nervous. It was kind of like, on a large scale, when COVID happened, all the anxious people go, oh, great. Like, we actually calmed down. Like, I knew this would happen. I knew it was ending. Like, it's almost like you get a diagnosis. You go, and finally it ended. The worst happened. Like, you're honestly like, and I feel crazy, or I feel some amount of guilt that when the world is quote unquote ending, or this, I tend to do well. I sold my first show in COVID. I was on the road. I was starting to really sell tickets. People couldn't even leave their houses.
She's good during the apocalypse.
I literally was so comfortable in the storm that I actually thrive in the storm. Like, I'm actually like out there. Like, and I sometimes feel guilt because it's like you hear the writer's strike and nobody's working. I'm in 2 shows. Like, you know what I mean? It's it knock on wood, but it's like, I guess I need that pressure. I need that collapsibility to have that that I'm here. It's almost like my thesis, my hypothesis, I should say, not quite yet, on
it's not
AI.
A doctorate yet.
Yeah, no, it's not a doctorate yet. But AI has been such an existential threat to so many, and it really is a threat. In many ways that we don't know, in some ways we can't articulate. But the other part of it that I feel is like we could be entering the greatest renaissance, artistically speaking, and I've already been seeing this for a few years. I've been speaking to it. But, television has gotten cinematic, quite literally cinematic. You look at Stranger Things, or you look at Severance, and, each episode. And we've had AI slop before AI, Marvel and all these movies have been doing AI slop before AI was even here. So it's almost like they ushered in. So fine, you want equation movies, you want mathematical formulaic movies. Okay, AI can do that and no problem. But the undertone of that, and I think we've seen it in history before, where whether it's the Renaissance or any other large periods of change, is an existential threat. Some humanity does really well with that survival instinct, it to be kicked on. It has to be kicked on. And this existential threat that we've never seen before is already kicking on. Like, I think in the next 5 to 10 years, we might see some of the greatest art that ever was made by humans, some of the greatest television. I'd like to think I'm included in that. Stay tuned on HBO. Some of the greatest filmmaking, some of the greatest fine art, as if to say we were here.
And then it's going to kill us.
Potentially. But think about the period.
It's going to make some, but think about Rooster.
You'll have Michelangelo come out. You'll have we might have these, we might have everlasting art.
You've gotten good at nervous then.
Yes, I'm baseline nervous. Even taking an SSRI or taking something to help, it's like I'm never not going to be nervous. I can be less nervous That's nice. That's like, normal. But I don't think people are without, and especially in our climate, like you say, I don't think anybody is going to be free completely of nerves or this. Some people aren't going to be baseline like me coming from that. But I think these are all things to pay attention to. It's like when somebody's offended by a joke of mine or something. I go, okay. Like, are you expecting to live a life without being offended? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be offended. I'm going to be thrilled. I'm going to be excited. I don't expect a life without one, like, particular, like, I don't expect to genetically modify a life. And I want this and I want this, but I don't want this and I don't want this. I'm expecting to go through a lot of it.
Are nervous and anxious synonyms? Because you seem very comfortable in knowing who you are, and part of that would be knowing and accepting that you're nervous is a starting point on all the things that can be judged as.
Yeah, I'm an expert on me because I've had the most experience as it. I always feel like if God's like assigning souls to bodies or however we get made. Okay, I picture God going like, yeah, you're okay, and you're out in Florida, and you're going, okay, fantastic. And it gets to me, and I'm like, God, you put me in me, and I go, do you have anything else? It's kind of a weird one now. I mean, what is it? What is she? What's going on there? And he's like, it's just what you got. You take it or leave it. And I'm like, all right, I guess. And so I get sent to the planet, and it's like, I've done well for what I am. I don't think everybody could do this, but I was given this, and I did pretty good with it. I did pretty good with it. I've gotten us pretty far, but it's not an easy one to have. I could have been a mom in the Midwest. There's a lot of lives I look at. Wow, what's that like? Because this one's a weird one to be. But I got it, and it is what it is.
You told Neil Brennan on Blocks that you don't have any real need to be understood. What do you need from people?
Nothing. I don't need anything from people. I like people to, I don't need specifically anything from them. I don't know.
From nobody.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I'm sure like I need healthcare and those people, and I need, I more have requests like, please don't be violent towards me. And please, I'd like not to be raped. And I have but I don't need anything from them.
But what great security to have that level of self-sufficiency to answer that question that quickly. I don't need anything.
Right. No, I've never, I've needed money. I've been begging for money my whole life, even as a kid. When I went to university, I got in on subsidy, and not everybody in my family went to university. And I do remember having to sit down with, you had an appointment every semester with the academic advisor and the accounts lady, and, they kind of went through your budget and to see if you were still poor. And I was like, and I remember on my student budget, I put like $300 for miscellaneous a month. And she was like, well, I was like, well, heat was like $170 last month. Like, I was always defending my life. I was always like making as much money as I could and needing more of it. I was always working like bad jobs, whether it was at a cafe or whatever, and like getting by like to 80%, but needing like if I could get some help. So if anything, I only needed money from people, and that's not even really from people. That's like a created thing, but that was really it.
Begging, you're using that, like you're thinking of that literally from childhood? Like when you say you're just always begging for money?
In ways that aren't like so, like I wasn't on the street begging, because there is begging, and I don't want to take away from that, but just in more subtle ways, I was always, trying to get some help financially and doing what I could to say, by the way, I'm also like, I'm doing what I can. Like I'm doing I'm I'm not just like trying to take money and not do anything. Like I'm trying to get you back, so I don't know.
Your, let's call it the grind of The Calling's a Nightmare.
Yeah.
How many years are you
Disaster.
spending inside of, I have to do this, but it sucks doing it because for now there's no money in doing it and I have to support myself because all of this is for naught if I can't make a career of it?
Well, I always did like both. I never like left my day job for a very long time. I in the beginning of doing it, when I heard about stand-up, he was like a whisper. Like I was living in Montreal, I was in university, and they had the festival there, and I was living kind of a keeping up with the Joneses. Like I wanted to be like other kids who went to university, got educations, and this sort of thing. But most of those kids had their parents bankrolling it and doing everything. So I was working 35 hours, just sometimes 30 hours to 35 hours, almost full-time. I was working almost full-time always and also doing full-time school. But I felt like I had to do that to compete because if I did school slower, if I took only 3 classes and not 5 or something, then it would look like I was poor. Like, oh, why did you take 5 years to finish? Or, you know what I mean? So I felt like to compete, I have to like look the part. And thank God I'm white and everything else because there's a whole other slew of issues in the country that I don't deal with. So a lot of inherited good stuff too, or stuff that made it easier a little bit or a bunch. But I do remember when I started getting paid, when I started like working and getting paid every 2 weeks, I was like kind of, making it. And that was my sense of making it, having a stable job. Like I was like, oh my God, okay, I could be okay. Because I remember thinking if I make it to 30, I'll know if I'm okay or not, like at 30. But this is much before that. And I heard about the festival. I heard about stand-up comedy. Now, it's not like I never knew of stand-up comedy. In my house, my brothers were fans of stand-up. But I was so... I hated my brothers so much as a teenager. I really didn't pay attention to what they did. In fact, the less I knew, the better. I was like, look at them. So, there was always, and also my mother is extremely culturally savvy and was at the library, and we had tons of like comedy, but I didn't know per se stand-up. And I remember just sitting in my, hearing it as a whisper, something I could do, and enjoying it. Like just... But I was like, because you're not doing that. You just got this good job. You could be in this job forever. You could have a 25-year job.
What job is that?
I was working as a junior. I was trying to study accountant, but I got an internship while I was still studying.
You'd be really unhappy in that job if that's what you had chosen.
Of course,
as a career.
But you know what? I was really sleeping. I was starting to sleep at night, and that made me feel 10 times better. Not worrying about money as much. Still always worried to this day. But that whisper got louder, his stand-up itch, and to the point that it was blaring, to the point that it's like, I have to do this. Like, I felt like Moses. Why me? I am in no mood. I don't want, And now I'm much better at listening to myself, my instincts. I think I've been parented, but mostly self-parented. I don't have a father. My mother was spread thin, and and I had the group of my siblings. So my parenting came from a lot of different places, and one of those places is myself. I'm self-parented, and I think your instincts really develop. Maybe I was, young then, thinking like waiting for the whisper. Then it's like blaring. Then the train is like in your apartment. Now I can hear a whisper far away, and I do it. Now I'm like, oh yeah. That's the move. My decision making is much better for my life. I remember leaving from Montreal to Toronto. That decision was much easier. As soon as the whisper happened, I did it. I didn't wait for it to be blaring at me anymore. I can hear myself a lot more clearly. But in the beginning, it was very long to make those decisions. So, I don't have short answers for how long was I doing that. I always, and I tell people this, I kept my job. I was not in a position to just do stand-up. I don't know how people do that. I kept my job I then left the accounting job. I went into sales and different jobs that were slightly more flexible, but still really not. And I would just like at the end of the day of work, I would change into jeans and I would do stand-up. And I just never left until I got like a more stable job in a creative space. And that's how I ended up as a writer's assistant for a kids show, because that was the first job that I got that was longer than 3 weeks. Because there were writing jobs that kind of came up that like I could maybe like I at this point in stand-up could have it, but they were like 2-week rooms, 3 weeks. I'm like, I'm not leaving my salaried, 30,000, 35, 32,500 a year job, Canadian, so maybe 25,000 a year for 3 weeks. Like I just can't do that. But this one was like a year. And I said a year might be enough time for me to really like
pursue it.
Yeah. Like, okay, a year.
Make a break for it.
And then I ended up being there 3.5 years, winning an Emmy for it. And it was like my film school. It was unbelievable. But I did wait a long time. I said, I wasn't able to take the opportunities as young as some of my counterparts.
There was lovely poetry in what you just said of now I can hear a whisper from a distance. Like there's great learning in what it is that you're describing there. Can you give me the latest example of how discerning your decision making is becoming when it comes to intuition, that you can see something from far away, it's faint, but you're like, yeah, I need to have that now. I recognize this feeling.
Yeah, even my producer for my show in development with HBO, they had me meet with a slew of producers. This person's done this. I said, this is the person. Done. I didn't want to meet with anyone else. I know. I am the expert in me. I am a PhD in me. And that's like really valuable, like for my particular business. It's amazing to have an expert on me because I'm the business now. It's kind of like when I was in kids and sometimes we would do... we'd have these big educational calls because when you're writing for children's, they have guardrails. You actually can't have a threesome and, So, but a lot of the people that would meet and talk about our scripts were PhDs, people who went to Stanford, people who went like the crazy schools, like they're educational advisors for PBS or for, children's television. Like they're like, they have childhood degrees and this and that. And at one point, and so we take their input, they're like, oh, kids are learning this at this age. So if you can integrate this. But at one point, I remember one of the ladies was like pitching, and our stories are very funny. I mean, very good kids show, Odd Squad. She started pitching, like she was like supposed to like consult on like kids math, and she was pitching. And I was like, with all due respect, you may have a PhD in mathematics for children. I have a PhD in kids writing at this point. I'm an Emmy-winning children's writer. I started owning that more. Like, this is basically the PhD for this, if they gave this. So it's like, I know story and you know this, but we're not unequal. Like, it's not like just because you have all these letters. So in terms of my business, Robby Hoffman, I'm PhD. I am post-fucking-doc.
When did you become, when was the graduation ceremony? Like what age are you when you feel like, no, I'm a PhD in
I'm
me.
still learning. I'm a student for
You're
life.
tenured, I understand.
Yeah,
but I'm
yes,
saying
exactly.
when do you
I'm still issuing papers. I'm still publishing. I'm still doing everything.
When do you get comfortable, right? You go from the distress of baseline nervous chaos in the house to making the choice to I'm leaving this. And so when do you start to get all of the comforts? Because the things about you that are most likable and endearing seem to be an authenticity that everybody's like, oh, that's just real. Everything that's happening there is real. She is telling you who it is she is with all of the details. So when did you get that confidence?
You know what? I probably always knew. Here's the thing about me is I always had a feeling that I was right about me. I thought it was weird to be me. I thought something's off, but something's here. I did think that. And everybody kind of caught on. So now when I get these accolades or things, I go, see? Wasn't I saying there was something here? Like people go, can you believe this is happening? And I go, I can, because I was saying I was saying for a long time, I think there's something here. Hello, am I wrong? By the way, if I'm wrong,
not something here. I think the biggest dreams are here. That's different. It's not like you think there's something here is something special, but also you don't put any limits on your dreams.
No, they're free. I've said this a million times. Dreams are free, but it's like I literally, I really feel that, like all the times I had nothing, like as a kid, and I said, like, I remember being 10, being like, I got to get out of here. There were roaches coming through it was so fucking bad. And every time I had to pee as a kid, I would open the light in the bathroom. We shared a bathroom, and the roaches would just scatter. And I remember being like, I got to get out of here. Like, I have got to get out of here. And I felt like I had nothing. I felt like all the kids in my neighborhood, I felt like we were all poor and we had nothing. And I felt like even I had more than other kids. We were living in a duplex. I mean, we were much more people, but I had people in the building behind me in terrible apartments, I'm living with their grandparents too. I mean, I live with my great uncle and whatever, but I felt like I had nothing. But then it hit me. I was like, you know what? I have me. I have almost nothing. It's not ideal. We have almost nothing. But we do have me. I kind of liked myself. I don't know where that came from. I kind of was like, okay. Like I got along with myself. I was like, oh, but we do have this. It's not great. It's not ideal. I don't know what it's worth. I don't think much. But maybe I can trade it up, this, that, whatever, and that's just what I did. I just tried to build me. I was like, okay, like the only thing we have is this. This is a starting point.
But like me is one thing, but also believe in me. I also believe that
but I think when you don't have the structure, like peers that we know, the parents, it's not like my parents didn't believe. Well, my father didn't really know about me, but my mother believed in me, but she didn't have the capacity to, to really invest or anything. But so it comes from yourself. Like when you have nothing, when you don't have like I didn't have a lot of parental ask me how I am, this and that. I didn't have the material, I just had me. So that kind of realization took time to know, but I kind of was always there. Like no matter what, okay, I'm here. And I was always there for myself. And I just felt like it was close to nothing, but not nothing. And I'm very resourceful, and we've had to be, that I could maybe make something of this nothing thing, of this tiny nugget of a thing. Maybe I could make something of it, but I'm going to have to put everything. And the alternative was like no alternative. It's not like, I could just move back to my house. Like I didn't have it had to.
There's no safety net.
There's no safety net.
There's no plan B either.
There's no plan B, and I made my own plan B. That's why I went to accounting. I said I have to be my own parents. I can't just let myself go and do stand-up and be irresponsible. You're going to be poor. So no, you have to, if you want to pursue something, you have to get a good job. I was mimicking what other people's parents did for them. Like, oh, they went to school and they got a good job. And the parents, so I would mimic that. I heard of families doing that.
You parented yourself.
So I would tell myself, like, you have to have a good job first. What are you going to do? And then when I had a good job, it's like, okay, you're allowed to also do this. So, yeah, I just tried to parent myself. I also had things like being gay and this and that. I said, okay, you're going to be gay. But it's like, you don't get to do everything. Like, you're not drinking and partying and you're not ruining your life. Like, this is the only thing we have. So, okay, be gay, but you're not staying out. Go home. Like, I allowed to me, an allowance was being gay. But then it doesn't mean, I still have to work and study. Then you have to do really well in school. You can't just be some gay thing. So in my head, I'm like,
the parent in you tolerate. This is good. We'll do this. We'll be supportive about this. But you're not going to just.
It's not a free for all. You're not reckless. Like, yeah, you have to either do school, you have to work, you have to do something.
Right.
You know, I feel like that with God too. Like, I don't know how religious or not, you know, I feel there's a sense of something, but I don't know what or if it's involved or anything. I definitely don't think it, you know, we know everything. But I feel like if there is a God, I just like lay low. Like, he's already letting me be gay and live this life. And what am I, a professional clown? Like, okay, I can, you know, then I have to do everything else kosher. You know, be a good person, give to charity, like to help out. Like I like to like not go. I like to balance everything out. Like, okay, you're doing it unorthodox, but here you're gonna, you know, be good. You can't just be reckless, free for all.
The money thing is quite the trauma, right?
Huge.
Like, is there a way to explain to me in adulthood the damage that it's done? Because I don't know. When the fear is of not having money, there are almost no fears that match that.
Right. It's like health. Like I consider financial health and health. I can explain it because I think it's collectively we have money trauma. I mean, I think, yeah, capitalism and money systems just in general are extremely traumatizing, and they benefit, you know, a few, built on the backs of many. It's extremely scary. It's the whole system is terrifying, and it collapses often. So it's just very precarious. And so I was living in, you know,
you're saying I'm nervous. Yeah, I'm nervous. We all should be.
We're all very nervous. We're all nervous.
But we all need to be nervous because the whole thing's.
No, I know. We've seen it collapse over time. You know, so it can come apart really bad. And for a lot of people, there was nothing even there to collapse. I just thought I would never even get to a point to have it for it to, you know, like for a lot of people, you never even partake in the game. You never get there. It's like here's the money and everybody's living outside of it. That's how I was living for a long time.
How about now, though? Where's the joy in the money? Like
everywhere. I love it. It is so much better to have money than not. I can't even put into words. It's way better than I thought. Like, it's way better than I thought. Like, I would dream of like, I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy this. And now it's like, it's amazing. And, you know, and helping family and being with family. I mean, it's hard to help some of my family. It's so funny. Even if I bought my mother the greatest house that ever, she'd be like, but the bus stop is right here. Like, she won't, you know what I mean? It's like, but yeah, and a bunch of my siblings have worked hard and done well, and they just feel 10 times better. They like it is life-changing because we're forced to live in this system where that is the case. And it's not like I have alternative system. Oh, this, you know, people go, well, Cami, I don't know. But this has some problems. I'm not to say I don't know all the other systems. Okay, I'm sure there's worse ones, and I'm sure we haven't discovered better ones. You know, I'm just saying it's traumatizing. It could have been different. I don't know how. I'm not. But I know
You're
it
not
could have
offering
been.
solutions.
This wasn't the one. Oh, it had to be green paper. Like, no, there's a million other things it could have been. But the whole thing is traumatizing and very fickle.
What does splurging look like for you? Because I can imagine that the accountant and the parent and you is still trying to be responsible about protecting those traumas.
Splurging to me is like with my wife. Like, I really value relationships, obviously. Splurging is like if I travel alone, people, you know, I'm in the back of the plane, you know, minding my business. People go, "You Robby Hoffman?" I go, "Yeah." You know, I was on the subway the other day to my show in New York, Town Hall, sold out. Somebody said, "I'm going to see you." I said, "Me too." We're both going to the same place, you know. But when I'm with my wife, it's different. Will I do first class now? Unbelievable. You're treated like hell in the back. They hate you. No, the flight attendants hate you. They're not being paid enough to care about you at all. They're barely being paid enough to care about themselves. They can't care about anything. They hate you. It's like disdain. Can I trouble you for some orange juice? You never see somebody nicer ordering than me. Could I trouble you? They go, "You want ice?" No, it's good. I try and get in, get out. They hate you. First class, what can I get you? Da, da, da. It's literally, we live in apartheid states all the time. No, all the time. Like the fact that we even on a plane call things class.
Yes.
It's so dehumanizing and awful, but and one class is much better. They're enjoying much more. It is way different, but I'll do that with my wife because that to me, I am comfortable in the discomfort, and I'm like, I will get the flight, we'll get out, but now we play the movie at the same time. It's very fun.
Would Gabby agree that Robby needs nothing from another human being?
I think so. I need stuff from Gabby. Like I need her love, and I love her, but I don't ask much from other people. I don't think. And by the way, I could be wrong. She could be like, oh, she needed this. She called down for this. I don't know. She could have a total different reason.
Is there any place where you have a moment or a landmark of enlightenment where you're like, no, I don't need to change for anybody here? Like
I think I need to be more me. I always think that's like the goal, like, is to be incredibly me. And I love people who are very themselves, for better or worse. Especially if they're interesting characters. I like somebody to lean into who they are. I like, so, and that's part of being on stage is like, over the years you become I'm like almost an exaggerated version of me on stage. I'm like the most me. I'm like in the sound booth going on all the levers. We're going Robby Hoffman. I have no restrictions on stage. I go crazy. Okay. And it's really, really fun. And I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I got here be like doing more me. I feel like I'm now, like I used to have to sell people on me, and now I'm like, come along. Like I used to have to be like, oh, I know it's unusual that you're facing me now, and this is, I don't know, you don't know what you're going to do with this. I know that it's bizarre, but I know what to do with this. I'm actually getting good at what to do with this. I have ideas. And now it's to the point that everybody's like, let's see where she's going.
That confidence can't have been there forever, though. Like
no, it's still building. That's what I'm saying. It takes time.
When did it start?
I couldn't give you an overnight. It's like when somebody goes, we heard about rich kids going overseas to find themselves, to explore. They did a backpacking trips through Europe, right? I always heard about these types of kids who went to Europe with a backpack. No reason they couldn't have a wheelie. Okay, bag. I don't know why they're with the backpack. It's had to be the backpack. Okay. And they went over there to find themselves. And I'm like, what is it? They get to Turkey. I was behind a shish duke stand. Like, I don't even understand that. I was finding myself, while being with myself, just living where the hell I was and doing what the hell I was. I think you're always with yourself. So I couldn't give you an overnight.
But you understand it's unusual, correct? You understand it's unusual. Not that you can't give me an exact moment, but to have this kind of certainty, to have it rewarded, to be earlier than you're 40 years old, and to just know who you are and be comfortable inside of who you are. Like it's not people go their whole life without achieving it.
I know, but this is but I think because they had so many other things, like Cloud, I only really had this, me. So that was the thing I liked, because I was like, this is the only thing we have. We're going to, it's like when comics yell at, maybe they have a sparsely attended show. Couldn't be me, but I'm kidding, on the confidence. But let's say, early on we've had, I've done thousands of shows with, 12 people there, God knows what. And some comics would yell at those 12 people. I'm like, these are the bitches that came. I never yelled at I'm like, thank you for coming. These were the 12 that came. Yell at everybody else. But why are you hurting the one thing that's here? So that's how I feel with me. It's like, I'm the one that's here. Everything else wasn't there, but why am I going to be mad at me?
So you've learned self-love. I don't know how you learned it.
I'm the only one here. I'm the last thing to blame. I was like, I'm the one who showed up. Everybody else didn't. Like, why would it? Yeah, I'm like the one good thing. I'm like, oh, thank God she came. At least she's here.
Yeah, why would I mistreat me? I'm a paying customer.
I'm the only one who was there.
How does it come to be that John Mulaney is directing one of your specials?
I'm so glad you asked, and I've been clarifying this wherever I go. He called me. Okay. This was one of those when you want those moments of the tide shifting and things turning around. Mulaney tracked down my number and called me and begged me to direct the special. He had an overall deal or something with Netflix. And he decided, like a saint, just to throw his weight behind me. That is the kind of help that's the kind of, yeah. And he just said, like, he was a fan. He found out about me. And, yeah. And he just said, like, and he did. He threw his weight behind me. And I told him, all I had to do was a great hour of stand-up comedy, which I knew I could do. And I was not going to, I said, I'm going to give you the greatest hour. You do what you do. You get into that office and whatever and shake whoever. And all you have to do is turn the camera on. I'll be ready. And we tag teamed it and we got it the fuck done. Unbelievable.
What was that phone call like? What do you remember about the details?
Well, initially it was a text. Hi, it's John Mulaney. Da, da, da. This is what I said. I can bring it up, actually. Bear with me.
No, take your time. You're giving us the exclusive.
I'm giving you really the exclusive. Nobody has seen this. And this is asked about a lot. So let me scroll up. We text a lot now, as you can imagine. I'm sure there's a way to go to the top.
Take your time. We have all the time. You're unspooling the exclusive. They're not going to cut anything.
What an ending to this episode. Look at this exclusive.
I feel like this is the longest name drop in the history of name dropping here.
It is. And we name drop each other. It's like I always told him. And he's going to like this because look what name is coming up. Hi, Robby. This is John Mulaney. Dan Levy gave me your number. Right? Not that Dan Levy. We were talking about it earlier. There's another loser Dan Levy who we love. We love the loser Dan Levy who's done nothing.
We weren't talking about that.
But not the Dan Levy you know. So he goes, hi, Robby. This is John Mulaney. Dan Levy. Hi, Robby. Start here. Hi, Robby. This is John Mulaney. Dan Levy gave me your number. I hope that's okay. Not that Dan Levy. I have been a big fan of your work for a while and really enjoyed you on WTF. I know you have various things going on, but if you'd ever want to talk about doing a special for Netflix, I make them and would be very excited to work with you on one. I think you're touring now, so maybe it's something you are eyeing. I'm around and happy to talk whenever. Okay, happy Sunday. I go, which Dan Levy? JK, I don't care either way. I mean, yes, of course, this has been my next dream move, and you'd be a terrific help in making this happen. From John Mulaney, it's Robby Hoffman. My God. Hope this text is okay, as I really didn't know what to write back. As you can imagine, it's very shocking, horrifying, anxiety-inducing, surreal, and thrilling for someone like me to receive such a text like this from someone like you. But yes, would love to talk and work on a Netflix special with you. And then we got on the phone.
That's beautiful.
I don't even have the temperament. I sat at the message for a full day. Talked with my wife. God, what do I write back? And then I just went with the truth as usual. It's horrifying to respond to this message. Of course I'm in. I could have said it like that.
Horror though. Horrifying. I don't get that part. Yes, if you start with
scary,
space
intimidating.
level.
It's John Mulaney. It's like, wow, we're really doing it. Like, it's really scary what I do. You know, like people ask me about, again, being nervous to stand up. It's like, yeah, I'm always scared. I'm always afraid. I'm always anxious. But just because I'm afraid doesn't mean I don't get to do it. Like, that's kind of how, since a kid, it's like, I've always been afraid and I had to get on the bus. I've always been afraid. And it's like with the last bus or whatever, I got on. I've always been afraid and had to do everything. Like, well, you know, I'm not going to have money for this. I still have to do it. I've always been afraid and done it. And that's the same with stand-up. Like, this is like doing a special. I'm afraid. Of course, wouldn't you be afraid? Everybody would be afraid. It's just the difference is I've gotten very good at being afraid. And it's kind of like, you know, I love anyone who pursues something in particular. For this reason, I follow, you know, I love climbing and I love Alex Honnold.
That's a whole different level of fear.
But he has gotten. Of course, he's afraid. He's not as afraid, maybe because he's conditioned. He's gotten very good at being afraid. I'm good at being afraid, but I'm always afraid. I'm always nervous. People go, "You nervous?" Ask my team. They go, "Can we say hi to you before the show?" Before the show, are you out of your goddamn mind? Like it's always scary, but just because something's scary doesn't mean I don't do it.
Do you take the next step on this and know you're courageous?
I don't know. I guess so, but those words are so intense, and I feel like reserved for more heroism.
Well, then I'm just talking about textbook definition. Courage is the ability to overcome fear. It's not to be fearless.
Okay,
it's
good.
It's the ability to overcome fear.
Yeah.
What you just described, I'll tell you the story, because you made me think of it now, and I haven't thought about it for a while. So Adam McKay says to me, I came up in writing, and Adam McKay just says to me, I remember this so distinctly. You're bringing the memory back to me. Hey, we should write something together. And I backed out of the room. And I still haven't run back toward it. I'm like, no, that's no.
It's too scary.
Yeah, well, so when you're saying it, I'm like, oh, she's courageous. But do you identify as such?
I think I do. I think I'm because I also probably have fun being afraid now. I push. You get excitement. It's like somebody having a pain kink or something. They like a wax on them or something to burn hot. You know what I mean? They don't like it, but they like it. You know what I mean? There's something in that hot and cold space. But yeah, it's too scary. There's many things that are too scary. I won't jump out of a plane. It's way too scary. People won't do that. It's way too scary. There's so many things. So something like that, when John Mulaney, it's just too scary. It's just like a diver. Okay, maybe they dive from 3 feet. They dive from 5 feet. 12 feet, it's too scary. I'm not ready for it. 12 feet is too scary. I'm sorry. I 6 feet, and that's it. I can't jump from 12 feet. That's how I feel like when Mulaney, but I know I'm going to do it. I'm like, okay. It's terrifying, and I'm in. But it's too scary. It is too scary. I almost don't have the temperament for what I do. I'm afraid and anxious all the time. Yet I do it. But that's been the case, just like having to run and catch the last bus in the pitch of the night after a shift.
You can't even imagine it not being around, right? You can't imagine living an anxiety-free life. There would be...
No, I now run towards it. Look at me. I do a very scary thing. It's still very scary. And a lot of people are so afraid they project their fear onto you. When you go home in the beginning, you're talking about that time, and it's interesting because nobody has really asked me about that time. While it's you know what I mean, unfurling and being, having to pursue for so long without any real payoff, you go home sometimes. You go to old friends or people that you knew, and they always put a thing on you, oh, so when's this going to happen? Or, or what's going to be your break? Or, or, oh, how was that show? It wasn't that many people there, or something like that. Because they don't do anything with their lives. They're too afraid. They're afraid to change people are afraid to ask for a promotion. People are afraid every step of the way. And I've been building on that. And so they do it to kind of make you think, to make you feel a little shitty about your circuit. I'm like, I don't know if that didn't work out so well. But I'm still doing it. I'm still going to try. It's so embarrassing what I do. It's for so long, you're embarrassed and afraid of being embarrassed, and you're doing shows for no one, and that didn't work or that worked, or even 12 people who really liked my stuff, and I would like that early on. Well, there's a bunch of empty seats or whatever, and people be like, oh, sorry, I couldn't go, whatever. It's it's always embarrassing, doing this weird thing. And it's always terrifying to be embarrassed, but I do it. And these people can't even, they haven't worked that muscle at all, to the point that they look back at their lives and what have they done?
Happens all the time. People are so afraid to change that they don't get out of unhappy because they prefer the comfort of, the unhappy is the known. But
and by the way, some people love doing, it's not I don't say what have they done with their lives in a sense, I know many people happy in their careers and stuff like that, and whatever they have done with their lives, but people who have unrequited ambitions in any way, shape, or form, it's very difficult. Now, for most people, fear is warranted. If you're poor, you can't just, other systems have made it so you are punished for asking for more and doing more. So there's a lot of nuances. I'm just talking in particular the people who maybe have cushy, I had friends who went into finance, obviously, and, what are you doing? And kind of judging me. I'm talking about that particular subset, not people who have to work and we've been beaten down to the point that we do have to work.
It's not bravado when you say to John Mulaney, right? You're scared, you're terrified, but you're saying, and you're not going to have to worry about that hour because that hour is going to kill. Like
no, he knows. Yeah, I'm going to
show. But you
know
know that, like
if he shows up for me, I am there for you. I will not. I grew up without a father. I'm always looking for people to be proud of me, and I want to make him proud. Like, I don't want him to think he put his weight behind something. Like, I'm going to show up. It's like I'm saying, like when I was working 35 hours at the cafe at Java U, and then I would have to ask the school for extra $250 a month, $250 a month, part of my subsidy, whatever. But I would say, look, I'm doing this 35 hours. Like, I'm not like just like, sure. I'm not like just freeloading. Like, I'm contributing to the maximum I could contribute. I'm doing 35 hours part-time work a week, which is almost full-time. And I'm asking for you for 5%. So if John gives me even 10%, I'm going to give 150. Like, I'm like, and he gave 100. I am, I show up.
You say you don't have a relationship with your father. Do you have any kind of relationship with the idea of father? Like, do you know how it is you've been imprinted by all of that? Like you just mentioned an example. Do you feel like you've got a good governance over knowing how it's shaped you to not have a father?
Yeah, I feel I'm half of my father. And I knew my father. We don't have a relationship now, but he was very funny. Very charismatic. He got sick and all this stuff, but I've always felt a connection with him, and I have a relationship with him in ways that I can. It's not ideal, I drive an old Porsche. People are shocked when they see my car. I have a 2001. I got it for $10,000 because I traded my old car for $18,000. That car I was traded for $13,000 to $6,000. You could see all the progression of my cars. And I've been working up to this car. This is my Grail car. And I love the car because my father always liked Porsche. Something I know about him. He, at one point, was able to get one for, I don't know, some amount of time. He bought one like used for like $10,000 also. He wasn't paying child support. He was trying to get my mother back and took a picture of himself in this Porsche and sent it to us. I don't know how long the Porsche lasted. He was living in a $1,300 apartment. So, and then he sold the Porsche. But he did pretty much, it seemed like he did everything to get this picture and like, look at me. We were like with cockroaches and everything. Like, what the fuck's he doing? But the car stuck with me. And he always liked the car, and I feel like I have a relationship with him in the ways that I enjoy the things that he enjoys, and we can enjoy them together. Every time I get in the car and I look in the rear view, I see his eyes in my eyes, and I feel like, again, it's not an ideal relationship, but it's not non-existent. He is half of me. He's in me. So I do have a relationship with him in the ways that I am like him, or I like what he likes. And it is something to me. It's not nothing, again. It's almost nothing, and it's not ideal, but it isn't nothing. And so, yeah, I think about that stuff all the time.
What have you learned about writing for kids?
That they're people. And I had a feeling about it too. I always felt as a child like a person. And yes, you don't write sexual innuendo or swearing, but I committed to good stories. Good, I feel like even with my stand-up or my TV show that's coming out, like there's no pyrotechnics, there's no gimmicks. I'm just doing good. It's almost like there's not good story is good story. Good stand-up is good. Like, I'm not doing anything crazy. People say I'm like refreshing. I feel like I'm just doing good work. Nothing crazy, nothing. So I don't know why that's refreshing. Maybe it's like podcasts are refreshing because all the talk shows, the legacy media talk shows that we have, of all our talk show hosts read off a prompter, and you would think that a talk show host would just know how to talk. It shouldn't be refreshing that a talk show host talks, but it is. That's where we're at. So I don't do anything. I have no, no effects. I have nothing, but just trying to do good, consistently good stuff. But it's very, I guess, hard to do good. People get clouded, but I just focus on good. I don't do anything else.
You come to meet Ted Sarandos how?
Oh, brutal. I mean, I have to go meet him again. He's so scary.
Again with scary. So
it's scary. He owns. He's a bill. I'm not like. I don't know what to say. The billionaires and the whole thing of it. It's just. It's too much. I have no. I can't. I just. I don't even know where to start. Right. I did Mulaney's talk show, and Mulaney knows how to talk. Everybody, and he did it live. It's the show, how much he knows how to talk. He did Everybody's Live with John Mulaney. I actually thought it was a great show.
It is a great show.
And I happened to be a guest on the show, and I think a great guest in the end. And I'm talking again objectively. I don't think my special is good because it's mine. I think it's good because it's good. I feel like I can have an objective enough. I feel like I'm not. I don't want to lie to people.
You are objectively good.
Yeah,
yes,
I don't want to lie to people
subjective.
because I would never want someone to. I'm not here to lie to you. I really think it's good because it's good. If not, I wouldn't even say anything about it. Believe me.
But it's not subjectively good. It's not a matter of opinion. It's a fact.
I think it's objectively good. Just like I've done plays. You don't want to see that play. I've been in plays where I go, it's not good. I'm in the play. So believe me. But, they had all this free food in the back at Mulaney's thing, at the Netflix Everybody's Live. And so I was picking at the food. I like to graze a table. I was grabbing this, I was grabbing that. And I was kind of in my own world, enjoying all the free food. I was starving after. And, a guy was like, oh, yeah, hi. And I'm Ted. And I was like, oh, Ted what? And he said Serranos, right?
I think it's Sarandos.
Sarandos.
I think. I might have it wrong. I don't know. You should know it better than I.
I blocked. I blanked immediately because as soon as he said that, I said, no. You can't just, if your name is Ted Sarandos, you can't just be telling people I'm Ted. Like, Ted is the bear. You know what I mean? It's like, it can't be you. And it was just, I was like, you're way too scary a person to talk to for me now. But, of course he was, when you meet these people too, it's like, okay, of course he's nice or whatever, but I don't know what to say. I'm too nervous. I don't know. It's too scary. Of course he was lovely and whatever. And I guess he makes the show. I don't know.
I don't know what to make of.
And then his son is a fan. I go, hello to the son. I mean, I'm just trying to get a plate. I'm just trying to get some snacks here. I wasn't ready for this interaction of this level or whatever it is.
Your base level anxiety and nerves don't sort of fit. I have a hard time. They don't fit with your amount of self-confidence and self-awareness.
I'm simultaneously both, always at the same time. Like, literally. I literally am simultaneously nervous and incredibly confident. I don't know. That is what's happened. That's what this storm has yielded.
I mean, it sounds like childhood trauma has birthed this as a work of art.
That's what it is. Yeah. There are two sides of the same coin. Absolutely.
But your funny doesn't come from pain, right?
Of course, it comes from everything, and it's also a gift. It's everything.
Because your funny, it sounds like your funny was sort of environmental, and then you started.
But also genetically, my parents are extremely funny. They're both very poor but brilliant, eccentric people. And truly, like, I think they're like, they're like patient ones for autism or whatever.
So if you had to rank in your house, so we would be talking. So it's 9 siblings, it's 10 plus the parents. Where are you numerically on the
I'm
funniest?
7th.
No, funniest, not the funniest.
I don't know. Everybody's funny, and they're funny in the group, and there's different things that are funny, and we're laughing at people. They're laughing at us. We're laughing at my mother. We're laughing at.
But you've said you're not the funniest in your own house, so I want to know how many.
I think my brothers Shmuley and Schneer makes me laugh. My little sister Yehud is just unbelievable funny. I consider her like a Jewish Snooki. My sister Chaya, my older sister Chaya, is extremely funny. I mean, people are really funny in my family. I don't know. I come from funny people. We had nothing but that. It was free. Anything free, we fucking had.
How did you fix the relationship with your brothers?
Oh, we just grew up. There wasn't fixing. It was like, oh, we lived in hell. It was a dump. It was a shithole. What do you want from me? That was it.
Well, you just said you hated them.
Of course I hated them. I was a teenage girl who hated her brothers. I mean, I feel like it's like mandatory. Mandatory.
Also mandatory. Hacks and Rooster on HBO. Robby Hoffman,
this.
Wake Up is a must watch.
What an interview with this guy.
Too
Who
Far
knew?
with Robby Hoffman.
Patreon only, the Too Far.
Thank you, Robby. A delight to see all of your success and a delight to talk to you.
Thank you so much, Robby Hoffman on Instagram. What an interview. Thank you for having me.
What
Right?
an interview.
Right? Look
what
at this
about
guy.
her?
I gotta give a hug.
Oh, wow, a hug. Our first
gotta give a
closing hug. We've never had a closing hug before.
He smells good.
Yes.
Tell the viewers that.
Thank you. Tell all the
smells
viewers.
good.
Tell the world he smells good.